The United States just accused China of stealing its most advanced AI models, and not even in a cool way. Not hacking, not reverse engineering, distilling, which basically means you feed the smart model's answers into a dumb model until the dumb model gets smart. It's the AI equivalent of copying your friend's exam, but rephrasing every answer so the teacher doesn't notice. The State Department named names: DeepSeek, Moonshot, Minimax. 3 Chinese firms, they say, are scraping American frontier models and reselling the intelligence for pennies. And the timing is, let's call it ambitious, because this drops weeks before Trump is scheduled to visit Beijing. Nothing says diplomacy like accusing your host of grand theft AI, and China's response? Predictably nuclear. Beijing started blocking American capital from flowing into Chinese AI startups. You call us thieves? Cool, your Sequoia money can go home. But here's where it stops being funny. China just blocked Meta's $2 billion acquisition of Manus entirely. The 2 founders of Manus AI have reportedly been detained. The founders are under exit bans. They cannot leave the country. 2 guys who built an AI agent that went viral 6 months ago are now sitting in a room where the Wi-Fi is definitely not the priority. So to recap, America says China stole its AI. China says keep your money. And 2 founders just learned that going viral in the AI space has consequences nobody put in the pitch deck. But that is not all that went down in the last 48 hours. China just dropped an open-source model that matches ChatGPT for a sixth of the price. Anthropic went from getting hacked to running out of compute. Microsoft just broke up with OpenAI. Sort of. They ended cloud exclusivity, and Musk hijacked a $2 billion fundraise to buy Cursor for $60 billion. It's May 1st, 2026, and this is UpToDaily with Token Burn. So remember DeepSeek? One of the 3 companies the US just accused of distilling American AI? Well, they just responded by releasing a model that makes the originals look overpriced. DeepSeek V4? 2 flavors: Pro for when you need the best, Flash for when you need it fast. Both open source, MIT license, 1 million token context window. But here's the part that matters: $1.74 per million input tokens. That is roughly 1/6 of what you'd pay for ChatGPT or Claude. And it's not cheap because it's bad. On the major benchmarks, V4 Pro is trading blows with ChatGPT and Claude, so you can either pay full price for the model America built, or you can pay a sixth of that for the one America says was copied from it. Your call. And there's one more detail nobody's talking about. V4 runs on NVIDIA hardware and domestic Chinese chips, dual compatible, which means if the US bans NVIDIA exports tomorrow, DeepSeek doesn't even flinch. So the US says China stole its AI, and China just published a cheaper version that benchmarks the same, runs on sanctioned hardware, and ships with an MIT license. That's not a denial, that's a dare. Want the news that actually matter? Scan the code to get your free personalized daily brief. Now, back to the stories. Last time, someone stole Anthropic's most dangerous AI model. This week, Claude got so popular that Anthropic can't keep the lights on. Anthropic is facing a severe compute shortage. And to be clear, this is not a failure. This is what happens when you build the best coding model on the planet and everyone shows up at once. Users paying up to $200 a month are getting throttled mid-conversation, hitting invisible usage caps that nobody agreed to. You're paying $200 a month for an AI that ghosts you at 2 p.m. like a bad Tinder date. And the quota management? Completely opaque. Nobody knows how many messages they get. Nobody knows when the cap resets. It's a subscription service that won't tell you what you're subscribing to. Imagine Netflix, but you can only watch 45 minutes of content a day, and they won't tell you how much time you have left. And guess who's capitalizing? OpenAI has been resetting usage limits and expanding capacity every single time Anthropic stumbles. Now we already know Anthropic's entire growth marketing team is literally 1 person. And based on these usage limits, I'm starting to think their compute team might also be 1 person. Now 80% of their revenue comes from enterprise customers, so maybe frustrated developers on Twitter don't move the needle. But at the rate other models are catching up, those enterprise contracts have a renewal date too. While Anthropic is struggling to keep the lights on, Microsoft just casually rewrote the rules of the entire AI industry. They ended their cloud exclusivity deal with OpenAI, which means OpenAI can now sell its models on Amazon, on Google Cloud, on literally anyone's servers. Microsoft still owns 27% of OpenAI, so they are paying for a front-row seat while their competitor sells the popcorn. And Amazon? Already warming up as a distribution partner. So the company that locked OpenAI into Azure just unlocked the door for Bezos. This is the multi-cloud era. And nobody is exclusive anymore. And finally, last time we told you, SpaceX filed for the largest IPO in human history. Now we know what the money is for. SpaceX has obtained the right to acquire Cursor for $60 billion. And the way this went down is insane. Cursor was about to close a $2 billion fundraise at a $50 billion valuation. Andreessen Horowitz, Thrive, NVIDIA, everybody was in. And then hours before signing, Musk walks in with $60 billion and says, actually, I'll take the whole thing. And it gets better. Microsoft looked at buying Cursor too. They just didn't. Satya had the code editor in his cart and closed the browser. But here's the fine print nobody read. This is technically an option to acquire. SpaceX either completes the deal by year-end or walks away and pays Cursor $10 billion to collaborate. And the real reason for the deal, SpaceX wants to IPO as an AI company, not a rocket company. Because AI companies trade at 30 to 40 times revenue, space companies trade at 12. So by buying Cursor, Musk isn't just competing with Altman. He's making sure Wall Street values him like Altman. And keep in mind, Musk is already worth $800 billion. That is more than Bezos, Larry Page, and Sergey Brin combined. The man is not taking chances on that trillionaire title. $60 billion for a valuation multiplier. That is the most Elon Musk thing I have ever heard. That's your 5 for today. If this saved you time, you might as well subscribe. See you tomorrow.